Hi there, it's Olga. I hope you're having a great weekend. Today it's time for the day 20 project of my 25 Days of Christmas tutorial series. And to celebrate it, I'm going to create 20 holiday gift tags. Making tags is a great way to use the pattern paper leftovers as well as some embellishments. So let's get started. Here I have a few bags of pattern paper leftovers. These are all holiday papers that I've been collecting for years. They are all from different producers. There are American and Swedish ones and some Polish ones as well. Some pieces are pretty small, but I keep them anyway because those were my favorite papers. I'm going to create all 20 tags with one die so they all are the same shape. I'm going to use the largest die from Paper Discovery's Tag Builder die set. Those chomped corner labels are from the same set, and I'm going to use one of them to create the label for writing down the recipients' names. There is also a hole positioner die included in the set, and I'm going to use that one as well. And this is the only die set that I'm going to need for this project. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tape down the hole positioner onto the tag die, and I'm going to use just a piece of washi tape. I'm going to remove this tape only when I finish die cutting all the tags. Some of the tools and materials that I'm using, especially the papers, are no longer available. They are discontinued ones, but if the product is still available, I will link it in the description below as well as on my blog. So here I have the first tag die cut, then I'm going to position the die onto the next piece of patterned paper, and I'm going to repeat the die cutting process. After creating 11 tags out of patterned papers, I found out that I no longer have a piece of paper that is large enough to die cut this tag, and those are pretty large. They are 3 by 5 inches each. So I decided to create a collage out of remaining smaller pieces of paper and then die cut more tags. What I'm going to do is I'll be attaching the strips of patterned paper onto a sheet of Kraft cardstock. I'll be trimming down the remaining pieces of paper into the strips of various thicknesses. Then I'll just be sticking them down using the liquid glue. This is the very simple process. Sometimes with the smaller papers I'm using 2 or 3 pieces to build up one strip. That is completely fine for the patchwork look that I'm going for. I keep going like that until I have the entire sheet of cardstock covered up. Then I'm trimming off all the paper that is hanging off the edge of the cardstock. And now I have the cardstock that is ready to be used for tags. I'm positioning the tag on a cardstock, and I'm kind of framing the portion of the pattern that I like the best, and then I'm going to send it all through the die cutting machine. The Kraft cardstock that I'm using is pretty thick, and although it's covered with pattern paper, the die cuts through all the layers just fine, and this is the result that I get. One A4 sheet of cardstock that I'm using is enough to create 4 tags. And here I have created more DIY backgrounds exactly the same way, and these will be enough to die cut the rest of my tags. At this point I noticed that the collage tags do have the Kraft background, but the ones that are created with the solid sheet of patterned paper do not. So I have simply die cut more tags out of Kraft cardstock, and I'm going to back up the patterned paper tags with them. This set of gift tags is meant to be a gift on its own, so I'm going to really keep the consistent look. Next, I've die cut 20 labels out of Kraft cardstock, and I'll be attaching them onto the bases like that. Although all the tags are kind of part of one set, each of them is going to be a little bit different from the rest. So I have decided to apply some white gesso onto just a few of the labels, not all of them. I'm also going to apply the same white gesso along the edges of just a couple of tags. And now I'm going to take my time and attach all the labels onto tags, the plain ones as well as the ones with the white edges. I'm just using the liquid glue here, but you can totally use the mounting tape if you want even more dimension. Now when the tags are assembled, I'm going to add some finishing touches and embellishments. So the mediums that I will be using are the Stone Drops by Nuvo. This is the one that I'm using here. The color is called Chalk White, and this is the dimensional paint that is very reminding of snow. I'm going to apply it along the outlines of labels and along the outlines of just some of the tags randomly. Again, I want each tag to look a little bit different. There is also one more medium that I'd like to use, and this one is Liquid Pearl. The color is copper, and this one has metallic look. I use it similarly to the previous one. I'm just squeezing out some of the medium from the bottle, and I'm creating kind of dotted lines along the edges of the labels and the tags. The nice thing here is that you don't have to try it to be perfect. The handmade look is exactly what we are looking for. After I have applied the dimensional paint, it's time to add some embellishments, and the ones that I'm using are also the leftovers that I've been collecting for years. I have some of the pine tree breads and some snowflake breads. I also have some flare and some sequins as well, and I'm going to use up as many as I can. I'm attaching the embellishments mainly with the hot glue. With the breads, I prefer to clip off the legs with the wire cutters, and then I'm using the glue to attach them. For smaller embellishments like sequins, I do prefer the liquid glue. The one I'm using here is Ranger Multi-Medium Matte. And by the way, those holly leaves and holly berry sequins that I'm using at the moment are still available. The link is down below. So once I have attached something to each and every tag, I'm going to add the strings as well. The one I'm using is just the hemp twine. I trimmed down that twine into 20 equal pieces, and now I'm just tying up the knot using the hole on the tag. And this is what the finished tags look like. They are pretty nice vintage large tags, and there's plenty of room on a tag to write down the recipient's name, and you can also use the back of the tag to add the personal message. My cousin, who's not crafting, always asks me to make some holiday tags for her, so I think this year those tags are going to her. And this is the great thing about tags. Even if you are not using them up yourself, everyone needs them, so they will make a great gift, especially if the person is not crafting. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and please come back tomorrow for the project number 21. Have a wonderful day.